Spherical Value in Color by Becky Schmidt.
Here we're going to learn how to create cool colored jelly beans.
Obtain a set of Prismacolor colored pencils from the instructor.
Then you can actually see that the colored pencils are arranged from lightest to darkness in rainbow order, and we've actually removed the black. Most of you should have a colorless blender over here. Don't worry about not having the black. We're going to create the shadows using something else.
You will be given 3 jelly beans to draw. Depending on their color, you will need to pick the correct colors from the colored pencil set. The artist will also select indigo blue and Tuscan red for the shadows. To start, the artist will use a number 2 pencil to block in or very lightly draw the jelly beans and the shadow shapes. It will take a few minutes to draw the jelly beans and the shadows. If you make a mistake, just erase and continue. Remember that if you draw too hard, the pencil will show through the colored pencil at the end of the drawing. When you start drawing with the colored pencils, it's recommended that you start with the lightest color first and block in the lightest value of each of the jelly beans with that color. You will need to carefully observe where the lightest values in each jelly bean are so that you can use the lightest color to recreate that value. In order to create a unified drawing, we will add each of the colors to each of the beans. It is also important to note the angle at which the artist is using the colored pencils. It is a very shallow angle when applied to the paper. The artist is also sometimes using an eraser to undo things that were done as a mistake. Notice how the artist is adding value to each of the beans rather than trying to finish one object at a time. This is how all artwork should be created. You go back and forth between different objects in the drawing to make sure that the entire drawing is unified in value and color. Notice how the artist has left the lighter color towards the top of each bean. This is because of the way the light is hitting each bean in the classroom with the lights and the light source that we will be using. Hopefully you noticed how lightly the artist originally started drawing with the colored pencils. As the drawing progresses, you notice that the artist presses a little bit harder with the colored pencil in order to make the original color of the jelly bean show up.
I'm going to draw my jelly beans according to where I can see them on the white piece of paper on my table. Then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go back in here and I'm going to very lightly block in where the shadows lie. And technically on this jelly bean I'm going to have an umbra and a penumbra, just like we had talked about during the box and cylinder unit for value. And I've got my umbra and my penumbra for all of my jelly beans.